It's the Afrozons show with your girl Sheila O, and this is How Far. How far now? How you all doing? Hope you all keeping safe. Hope you all still social distancing and making sure you all do the needful, okay? Because life as we know it has changed, but we have to just keep up with the Joneses, as they say. We have to keep up with life, all right? Don't let it wear you down. My guest today, she's retired, but man, she's still rocking, okay? She retired from the African Union as the head of the Division of Gender Coordination and Outreach of the Women, Gender and Development Directorate in December 2013. The beauty of her is that the ramification and scope of her work with the OAU is reflected in the history and the progressive evolution of women and gender issues in the organization ever since she joined the then Women's Unit when it was established in 1992. That's what we're talking about here. That's what's up. Mrs. Teriba, ma'am, how you all doing? How far now?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great. Enjoying retirement, enjoying Chicago, enjoying my grandchildren, and coping with after retirement life, which is beautiful.
Which is priceless. You look so beautiful today, I must say.
Thank you so much.
Glowing, glowing, glowing. First of all, congratulations on your virtual book entitled An Enriched Life. Love
Thank
that
you.
title.
Within
your years of research, ma'am, what have you seen is the biggest problem with gender equality, especially within third world countries in Africa?
I think the problem is our tradition, our culture and tradition, which we have to realize is always changing. Nothing is static. What we just believe that, you know, if something happened to my parents, it must happen to my children. And usually women are the ones behind it, which is great because we hold up the culture and tradition of the society and keep the society going. So I believe that if we change our mindset about our culture and tradition, most things are likely to go well.
Okay. Is this something that you think that can be fixed, starting with the youth of the countries that this affect?
I think it affects all nations in the world.
Right.
It just varies from place to place because the problem of gender equality is the same wherever you are, whether you are in the most developed country or you are in the least developed country. And I believe that we can break the cycle from if we focus on the youth, especially the girl child.
Yeah.
And I believe the way you can break the cycle is through education, formal and informal education, because once you know, it depends on which aspect you want me to talk about. But to break the cycle, like I said, you have to target the youth, the young world, and at the same time, you have to work with men. Women have a way of always talking to themselves and talking about how bad things are, the gender equality, so forgetting that right now the power is still with the men. You have to work with the men. The men, we are the mothers of the boys that became the men.
True.
So we have to work with the men because they still have the majority of the power. And from my experience, once the men know that this is what you are talking about, their attitude change, and most of the time they become very good allies in talking about or fighting for women issues. So I believe that you have to go through all the various age groups to make a difference. Yes,
totally get it. So the youth, the men, you know, the key factors that affect what we are trying to address.
And also the women, I'm sorry.
And also women.
And also women, because we cannot assume that women know about their rights.
True.
Because like I was talking about tradition and culture and so on, at times women just assume, for example, that, you know, I was always in the kitchen with my mom, my brothers were playing outside, it has to be so with my children and so on. So it's everybody in the society collectively. Only you have to design the program that targets the group that you want to focus on. I'm sorry about that.
No, thank you for saying that, because I actually remembered something that happened way back in Nigeria, something I read about, where the current president, President Buhari, referred to his wife, who's a medical doctor, where he said she had to keep her place in the kitchen because she had something she had to say to empower the country. But apparently, I think he took offense to it, and he publicly said that even though she's a doctor, her place was in the kitchen. So yes, you are right. Women are also affected. Women should know where they stand. Really appreciate that. But can you also tell me the definition? Because I don't know. What is the definition of gender mainstreaming?
Gender mainstreaming is to say that in every facet of life, issues affect women differently from men. The girl child from the boy child, even from birth. The issue of child preference, this is our belief that, it's very important to have a male child to carry the name forward and things like that. So when you talk about gender mainstreaming, is to look at how every aspect of societal values or development affects both sexes. Because if you, let me just talk about the issue of education.
Yes.
In a home, well, resources are always limited. In a home with limited resources, and there are lots of children, you can find that they will say, okay, let me send the girl to go and learn a trade and the boy to go to school, because the little money that we have in the family will benefit the boy better because he will keep the family name. And he's likely to get a good job and look after us and so on. So gender mainstreaming means that both sexes should be given equal opportunities to attend school. And even when they are in school, you don't assume that the boys should go towards the sciences and the girls should go towards home economics and things like that. So you give them, so it means that, you have to start from the primary school. And you have to tell the teachers that, you don't try to choose for the children what they should be tending towards. Because, and also at home, you don't buy toy trucks for your son and just get the dolls for the girl. You should give them equal opportunities to decide, the girl may want to play with Lego or build towers with the Lego and so on.
Yep.
So that's what we are calling the issue of gender mainstreaming comes in, that in every aspect of life, there is always a difference. We should consciously ensure that there is a balance when it comes to things like that.
To both sexes. Okay, appreciate
both sexes.
That. What are the best ways to apply gender equality practices in third world countries when you have to consider the effects of politics?
I believe that things have moved very, very fast.
Okay.
In Africa, except that most people don't know their rights. At the African Union Commission, which is the successor organization that took over from the Organization of African Unity, the OAU.
Right.
The organization operates at the continental level. It's made up of member states, meaning all the member states of Africa and member states of the African Union. And where I worked in Addis Ababa is the headquarters, like the Secretariat of the African Union. And a lot of policy documents have been adopted by our heads of state.
Right.
In every facet of life, you name it, we have the policy. Agreed to through the mails, to the routine, the way for getting the approval of our heads of state,
right.
Meaning that the ambassadors will have looked at the programs or policies and programs and activities, then it goes to the foreign ministers. After the approval, the heads of state approve them, and they put their signature on all this, they adopt them, and they are being monitored. But the problem is that when they go back home, there is nobody holding their feet to the fire to say that, you went to Addis Ababa or you went to the summit, you agreed to these policies and so on. They have to be implemented.
Accountability, right?
Accountability, yes. And that is why I believe, and I work very closely with the NGOs, non-governmental organizations, because the government may not be able to monitor itself. So the non-governmental organizations will have to, because we work very closely with them, to say that, you have to ensure that whatever has been adopted at the continental level, whether at the global level by the UN, all these things will have to be, all these policies, programs, and activities will have to be monitored. And at the level of the African Union also, we have programs in place to monitor what is happening at the level of in our member states. Right. But the thing is that you have to realize that the African Union is a member states organization. Mm. So you have to know how to implore them to carry out what they have been committed to. But it's very, very important back home for everybody to be aware also that they have a role to play. It should not have anything to do with politics. It's good governance.
Yes, yes, totally agree with you. In addition to what you just said now, since you joined the OAU, okay, in 1989, yeah?
Yes.
Are there any key advances or progresses that you have actually seen the union accomplish to date, and what more can be done?
In terms of accomplishments, you have to realize that you cannot move the accomplishments of the organization from its member states.
Right.
And the organization is as good as its parts, and that is the member states. So in terms of achievement, like I mentioned, it's in terms of putting policies, programs, and activities in place that will have to be implemented. In that case, in the area of gender policy and programs, I can safely say that the issue of the gender parity principle, now it is against the law for any member state not to have equal number of men and women in any decision-making position. Good. Because that is the law they themselves adopted.
Yes.
To say that the gender parity principle is non-negotiable. So for the first time since the establishment of the OAU and then the AU, we now have 5 male commissioners and 5 female commissioners. And we also, so that's something that I was very much at the center of. And so that is a very big achievement. So it has to trickle down. It shouldn't be up there alone. Yeah. Even in our member states, when you have the ministers, there has to be equal number of female and male ministers. You cannot say that the people are not there. They are there.
They're there.
And we have to make sure that where they say they are not there, then things have to be put in place to say that, in terms of education, in terms of opportunities, to be able to be there, because it is not true.
Yeah.
There are people, there are women that are there. So that's a major, major achievement. Then, so many of the issues that are adopted at the level of at the UN level, that's at the continent, at the global level.
Yeah.
The voice of the African people are there, because we have the African common position on any issue, whether it's the issue of aging, the issue of education, you name it, science and technology, aviation, all of them. So you have, at the headquarters, you have departments that deal very, very seriously with these issues to make sure that the African voice is always there.
Right.
And that is why it's very, very important for Africa to always be together. You have the European Union, you have the African Union, and you have the Union of Member States of the Americas and all that. So it's very, very important for Africa to speak with one voice. And that is the avenue that is there to make sure that Africa speaks with one voice.
You have been so entertaining. You've been very educational. What I wanted from this interview was what I got. We wanted your wisdom. You know, we have a very young audience here on the Afrozons show. The show is nationally syndicated, and it was important to have expatriates like yourself come and talk about, you know, the books you've written, talk about your life experience, and there's a lot our listeners can take out of this. I really appreciate it. One thing I want to know as well is, how can people gain access to your book? How can we get hold of the virtual copy of the Enriched Life?
I have a copy of the here.
There it is.
There it is. You. That is the hardcover.
That's the hardcover. Okay, hardcover.
Yes. If you go to Yetunde Teriba, that's my name, yetundeteriba.com. All you need to do is to click on what you want, whether you want the hardcover or you want the Nook or the iBook or Amazon Kindle. All of them are there. So it will take you to the site to purchase it. The book itself, the hardcover, which is a labor of love. Yeah, because I say a labor of love because I did self-publishing because I always like to learn. Yeah. So I self-published my book, and it's just $25. I made sure that it's something that everybody would be able to afford, especially young people. Because it's very important. Even diplomats need this book. Like somebody said when we were doing the launch, I wasn't even thinking of that. So one of the launchers that read the book said that. So I think it's a book for everybody. You want to see how Lagos was growing up, how we used to pick coins in the drainage, you know, after rain and so on. All kinds of. So to get the book, just go to yetundeteriba.com.
We're gonna have it typed out, you know, so that people can have access to it. Okay. Is there anybody that, you know, you want to say thank you to, that played a major role towards this book? I know there's so many, but maybe some of your contributors. I want to give you this opportunity to just reach out to them and say thank you. I want to start by saying thank you to you for putting this book together, and I know I'm going to get a copy, and I know I'm going to learn a lot from it. But is there anybody that you, Mrs. Yetunde Teriba, would like to thank for the book's success?
First of all, it's God. It's God, because it's taking me 13 years to write the book. Wow. I thought I would have launched the book as I was leaving the organization at the age of 2013. But because my husband was ill, I had to put it aside and face looking after him because it was my priority and so on. So I thank God that I was now able to finish the book. I also thank my husband because I think the person that you are yoked with determines your future.
That's so true.
If one marries wrongly, male or female, it will determine one's future. So I really thank my husband because our courtship was only for 7 months.
Wow.
And we were married for 41 years.
Oh my God.
Before he passed, recently. He passed only 3 months ago.
I'm sorry.
And I also want to thank one of my elder sisters who said, okay, our father died. There was no family or anybody to help. Yeah. But she believed that, you know, wherever she couldn't get to, myself and my immediate senior brother will get there. She made sure that I got the scholarship from Lagos State government to go to, because without a scholarship, there was no way I would have been able to go to the University of Ibadan to study. Right. They even chose they chose the subject I should study. They said, you have to go and read English because we need administrators in Lagos. Sure. Because I wanted law. They said, no, we had too many lawyers and so on. So I really thank, so I want to thank Lagos State also for that opportunity. And I also thank my sister that I was talking about. Yes. She made sure that I was okay also, to the extent that, you know, it was because of her that I went to the University of Ibadan. And even when I was having my babies, we would pick her up from the university, we would go to her house in Bodija, pick her to go to UCH to have the babies. She will be outside there throughout. She's been my rock and support even to date. We talk almost every day.
Beautiful.
Even up till now. So she's somebody that deserves the thank. And I also thank my children. They are the best. I mean, in terms of, they never gave me problems. I didn't spare the rod for them also. So I thank them. When you invest your emotions in your children, it comes back to you, especially in your old age or when things are very difficult.
Yeah.
So I thank my children. I thank one of my brothers that did all the research for the family. I thank the family that took me in the Anyori days.
Wow.
When I was in secondary school in Lagos. My sister, I didn't mention her name. Her name is Olaiwola Abike Olasokwe, Mrs. Olasokwe.
Mrs. Olasokwe, thank you.
Thank you. So, and also all my colleagues, friends, all those that I met, and I've had some fantastic friends. You know, I'm not somebody to be moving about with friends, but I've had lots of quality friends that have been there for me. Even when I moved to Chicago here, there's some that will do anything. They will give, like you say here, the last shirt, the shirt on their back or the blouse on their back, and so. And I also thank my church. That is the Jesus House, Chicago.
Okay.
We have a fantastic pastor, and the people, oh my goodness, they will go to any extent for you. They're very, very big support system.
Beautiful.
So, yes, and I also thank my consultants, the firm that helped that took me through the process of having my book as a reality. Yes, God Culture is the name of the company.
Okay.
So I have a lot of people to thank, and I also thank you for having me on this show.
Thank you.
I really appreciate you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. It's been a great, great, great time we've spent here with you on the Afrozons show. We look forward to getting your book, and we look forward to you publishing more books. Thank you so much, Mrs. Yetunde Teriba. Thanks for being our guest. We appreciate
you. Much. I really appreciate you. Thank you so much.
God bless.
God bless. Stay blessed.
I will. Bye-bye. Thank you.
Thank you.